4.1, solve simple equations. So now what we're looking at is we're moving away from expressions and we're going to go to equations. Equations are basically a mathematical statement that says two expressions are equal. So for example, 3x plus 3 is equal to 2x minus 1. So that is an example of an equation where you have two sides of an equal sign or expressions on both sides of an equal sign. All right, now a solution or a root is the value of the variable that makes the equation true. An example. So let's look at some examples to understand what this is saying. Example 1. Solve each equation. So you're asked to solve each equation. X plus 4 equals 13. X minus 8 is equal to 2. Negative 4 plus x is equal to negative 1. And 3 minus x is equal to negative 1. Moving on. 3y is equal to 18. X over 3 is equal to negative 4. Negative v is equal to 9. All right, now, what you may have learned in the previous years is talking about balancing. We need to create a balance. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. And that is true in this case. We want to get x by itself. To get x by itself, we need to move this plus 4 over to the other side. To move it to the other side, we want to subtract 4. So we're going to subtract 4 on both sides to balance it out, and we end up with x equals 13 minus 4. So, folks, I don't really need to see this minus 4 step. You can do this part in your head. What I do want to see is this. So, x is equal to, and moving the plus 4 over, you write 13 minus 4. You need to show me that statement for now. As we get more and more involved into math, you'll be able to go straight from this step to the next step. But right now, I need you to show me x equals 13 minus 4. And then the next step is x equals 9. And think of it this way, folks. If you make a mistake here, if you show me some work, I can give you some marks for that. All right, next step. X minus 8 is equal to 2. This is minus 8. We want to get x by itself. To get x by itself, we need to add 8 on both sides. And that's what you would put in the thought bubble. I do not need to see the thought bubble. In fact, I don't even want to see that work, because what I do want to see is that x is equal to 2 plus 8. So you move the minus 8 over, it became plus 8. 2 plus 8, folks, is, that's right, x equals 10. Okay. And if you were to check your work to go ahead, checking it means that 10 minus 8 is equal to 2, 2 equals 2, and we're good. Okay, moving on. Negative 4 plus x is equal to negative 1. That is, x is equal to, now leave the x on this side because x is positive here. We leave x here, so it stays plus x. And we move the minus over to the other side, and it becomes negative 1 plus 4. Negative 1 plus 4, folks, is x is equal to, that's right, 3. Now, a couple of things we'll be doing, folks, is we'll be looking at some other things in just a moment. Hold on. Okay, so we have, again, one more time, x is equal to negative 1 plus 4. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3. And so that means x is equal to 3. If I check my work over here, negative 4 plus 3 will give me negative 1. So we've done this correctly. Moving on, 3 minus x. Okay, now let's look at this one and be very careful here, folks. So we have negative x over here. So let's look at what we want to do. X is negative over here. What we want to do is try and get the x positive first. So to move it positive, we're actually going to move x over to this side. That's right. We want to move x from this side over to this side. So across the equal sign, x is going to be on the right side this time. What's going to be on the left? Well, we have 3. And then we have the minus 1 that's on the right now. We're going to move that over, and we're going to move the minus 1. It will become plus 1. So 3 plus 1 is going to be, that's right, 4. So that means that our x is equal to 4. And we're just reading this backwards. Whether we read it forwards or backwards, it means the exact same thing. 4 is equal to x. That means that x is equal to 4. So if we plug it in here, 3 minus 4, if I plug it into x into here, and I put in the solution, I find out that 3 minus 4, that's right, x is equal to 4, will actually give us -1. So we've got the right answer. Don't forget, you can always check your answer. Okay, let's look at the next example. 3y is equal to 18. A lot of you probably looking at 3y equals 18. Well, I know what that number is. That y is 6. But why is the y 6? That's the question you might want to ask. Well, that is, we want to move the 3 over to the other side. How is the 3 attached to the y? Well, it's multiplied. So we always do the opposite operation. That is, we're going to divide both sides by 3. All right, sorry, back to that previous question for a moment. 4 is equal to x, or x is equal to 4. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter. It means the exact same thing, folks. Okay, back to e, and let's see what e does. We divide both sides by 3, folks. That's right, divide both sides by 3, and that will give us y is equal to 6. Y is equal to 6 is our final answer. 3 times 6 is 18, and that's the answer we want over here. Let's try the next one. X over 3 is equal to -4. What does that mean? That means that we have x is equal to -4 times 3. Multiplied by 3, because look here, x is divided by 3. We leave x here, and we take the divided by 3, and we multiply 3 to move it to the other side. So x is equal to -4 times 3, which is x equals -4 times 3. That's right, folks, -12. X is equal to -12. Let's look at the next example. -v is equal to 9. Now, there are two ways to approach this question, folks. So I'm going to show you both ways. First one is, if I have -v is equal to -9, all I can do is move the v over here and the 9 over here. And that gives me v is equal to -9. That's one way to approach this question. Another way to approach this question is by looking at it in terms of how can I get rid of that negative? Well, what I can do is take v equals and divide both sides by -1. We're dividing by -1 to move the negative to the other side. And 9 divided by -1 is v is equal to -9. So either you do it the blue or the red way, you will get v is equal to -9. Different approaches, but you will result in the same answer. Because if I plug in this answer to the original, sub it in to check, I get -9, which gives me +9. That's right, folks, +9. Okay, let's look at another example. H. 5x plus 25 is equal to 500. What do we do here? Well, let's look over here. We take the plus 25 that you see here, and that's the first thing we want to move over. So we get 5x equals 500 minus 25. That's right, we move the plus 25 to the other side first. It becomes minus 25. 500 minus 25 means that we will get 5x equals 475. Now when we have that, 5x equals 475, what we want to do now is divide both sides by 5. What you end up with is x is equal to 475 divided by 5 is 95. That's right, the answer here is 95. Let's look at another example. Example I. So, looking at this question, what we want to do is solve for x. We need to do this slowly. To solve for x, what we need to do is take 3x over 2 and move the minus 27 first. You get 15 plus 27. Once we do that, what I can do is simplify it. So you get 3x over 2 is equal to 42. Once we do that, we see that we need to get x by itself. That's the goal, folks. We multiply 42 by 2, so that we're left with 3x is equal to 42 times 2, which gives us 84. 3x is equal to 84. Once we figured out that 3x is equal to 84, we can now divide both sides by 3. So we divide both sides by 3, and that gives us x is equal to 28. And that, folks, is our final answer. X is equal to 28. All right, folks, well, that's the end of the lesson. Have a numerical day.